Lucasfilm and Disney has a clue of what Star Wars is about, or even what it is. Is it the gayest Star Wars ever? Is it about exploring adult themes like rape in Andor?
I didn't like this one because gay. I didn't like this one because women. I didn't like this one because it had an implied sexual assault scene. And so, what is Star Wars really?
Is it about communist lesbian space witches? Is it a cinematic franchise? Is it a streaming franchise? Is it just a lifestyle brand? Is it
a corporate product? Yes. There you go. You got it. Now you can start getting less upset about how the fact that there is more than one thing. I mean, what the fuck is it? Is it movies? TV shows? Musicals on ice? Fucking Cheetos? No spoilers. I'm not going to be spoiling anything, all right? Spoiler-free Andor. But hey, if you haven't seen Andor and don't want to watch it, I understand. I know your plight. I was in the same boat. Yes, I was like you in 2023 because I was just so Star Wars out. Just Star Wars everything, all the time, everywhere. And, you know, as someone who considered himself a Star Wars fan, I learned what it is to have unlimited Star Wars, and it's too much. It just became too much. Too many shows, too many spin-offs, too many movies, too many cartoons, too many books, just too much. And you gotta watch the movie to understand the reference in The Mandalorian season 2, which only makes sense if you've watched the Boba Fett show as well, because there's a reference there that is going to cross collaborate with The Mandalorian season 3. What was season 3 even about? I can't tell you. I know I watched it. Fetch quests or something. I don't know. Baby Yodas. Like so many. Just so much Star Wars that I'm done. You can tell me about the new one, sure. And that's what happened to me for Andor season 1 when it came out. Everyone's like, you gotta watch Andor, and I was like, yeah, sure. One day in the background while I'm cleaning the house, I will put the episodes on. I don't care. Star Wars is so done to me. There's just too much. They became the biggest media property in the world, in the galaxy. All right, the Star Wars one. It is just Star Wars saturation zenith. And then if you, like me, sat down and actually started to watch the series and got through until the prison and the eventual arc of the entire show, you're like, holy fucking shit. All right, well, that, despite being part of the Star Wars universe, was probably the most unique and greatest Star Wars property ever, because it just takes Star Wars as a template to tell a completely different story about revolution, about rebellion, about imperialism, about capitalism, about fascism, ultimately, how it rises, the banality of evil, all of that is included in the first season, and it is absolutely just spellbinding. You forget when you're watching that show, most of the time, that it's a Star Wars show. Half the time it's espionage, it's a thriller, it's something else, and then all of a sudden there's like a robot and you're like, oh yeah, this is Star Wars. Oh yeah, there's a cute little puppeted alien creature. I totally forgot this was a Star Wars show, but apparently it is. And so when the second season came out, I was obviously extremely excited for it. Second season delivered and then some. They went the extra distance to show the eventual end result of fascism being colonization, genocide. They don't shy away from, obviously tackling very, very dark and intense topics, including like topics. I just want to say, by the way, that we're already in the Star Wars universe. I know a lot of like right-wingers are upset because, and this is a mild spoiler, but it doesn't spoil the plot. But if you don't want to know about it, mute me for 1 minute. There's sexual assault, or at least attempted sexual assault in the second season. And so many people are upset because they're like, I can't believe that there's sexual assault implications in Star Wars. Not in my Star Wars. Darth Vader would never have stood for that. That was definitely not permitted by the Empire. I can't believe you would ever put that in this. And it's like, what, in the show that has featured genocide? Like, from the jump? Like, from the original Star Wars film? I know it's technically the fourth movie in the chronology, but they blew up a whole planet, man. Like, there's the wanton slaughter of children in the prequels. There's a whole killing an orphanage full of kids. That same Darth Vader that you think is cool strangled his pregnant wife in one of the movies. Just loses his mind. They're pretty clear in that he descends into the dark side, and that's bad. Like that's a bad thing. Maybe you shouldn't do that whole stuff. Not a great thing to do. But either way, they're like, oh, I can't believe they would put that in here. And well, yeah, again, it uses Star Wars as a template to tell a story, and that story does involve a evil colonial fascist empire that is actively working on colonizing and eventually genociding an entire culture and people on a planet. That's where the second season of the show positions itself. And I'm also sorry to tell you that no, not all soldiers and generals within fascist regimes behaved well. Did you want to look up how the Japanese Empire behaved towards Koreans or Chinese people, for example, and the horrifying things that they did? Like that, this is a very real reality of worlds in which empires, even if it's in space, even if it's with space wizards and magic and all that kind of stuff, which doesn't really take place very often in this world. This world is a lot more grounded in reality. That is an aspect of imperialism. I'm sorry, but it's just the real world.
He tried to rape me.
Nerd erotic.
And again, this is one of the wild things is that Star Wars is just the fucking McDonald's of properties, right? Like, even if you've never seen a single Star Wars, you know some things about it. You'll probably know the term Jedi. You'll probably know lightsaber. You'll probably have heard of the Force, right? You know, even if you've never seen any of it, that's just how popular and dominant this is as a property in the world. And as a result of that, obviously, there's a huge and gigantic fan base of people who probably like a lot of these movies and shows and books and comics and cartoons and video games because they like pew pew. They like to see spaceships and they like explosions and they like the laser swords and samurai battles in space between powerful wizards who can control midichlorians and all that kind of stuff. Like, but it's also okay if people make properties or tell stories within a universe that may have more substance than just pew pew.
Greetings, you over 1 million hellions and the 40% who haven't subscribed yet. I'm sure you've all heard the big news from Star Wars recently. No, it wasn't the release of Andor, it was the introduction of grape in Star Wars. Now, this video will not be a review of Andor. While I can admit it's the best thing Disney Star Wars has crapped out on Disney Plus, that's
wow, even the chuds can't deny it.
It's a low bar. There's some good performances, it looks pretty, but it has all the heart and soul of a technical manual. What is Andor, you ask? Well, that's a pretty good question considering most of you haven't seen it. It's a prequel to another prequel that's technically a sequel to the prequels. And this will also not necessarily be a video about that scene, but let's get this out of the way. And yes, just in case you were living under a rock and didn't know, there was an attempted rape scene in Star Wars.
Why did you do that? You could just say SA. I know you're trying to avoid getting copyright striked, but demonetized.
He turns around to face Bix with a sympathetic look.
My shoulders get sore. You must have strong hands.
Leaning intimately close, he rubs his knuckles over hers. He corners her against the kitchen panel.
I said no!
She smacks him hard, backing him off. He pinches his nose, then sees blood on his fingers.
Honestly, I think that scene is much ado about nothing considering the controversy is overshadowing stuff that is far worse, including the heavy-handed immigration allegory because we have...
Hey, at least you can't blame Nerdotic of not having any media literacy. He's got some. It's just pissing him off. I didn't like all of the comparisons to U.S. imperialism, trying to make the U.S. look like the bad guys, and apparently the Vietnamese were the good guys. I don't like that. I don't like this George Lucas. I don't. Yeah, and now Disney has to apparently have yet another series where they're trying to make it look like some evil colonial empires trying to destroy everybody, and that their fears of immigration were weaponized by, again, the fascists. I can't stand it.
Seen that genre in the last 6 days. Mon Mothma,
Much ado about nothing, but apparently the grape is fine. Yeah, that's also like, he's like, oh, by the way, all of you who are freaking out about the fact that this scene was in the series, I just want to tell you that don't get mad about that. Get mad at immigrants. That's come on, that's who we should be angry about.
Dancing to 90s techno music, or Andor escaping the retarded squabbling rebels.
To be fair, Andor balanced. It was definitely not dated for the 90s. I would place that probably in the early 2000s of House, but they intentionally were using strange keys to make it sound a little bit more alien. I thought it was a neat artistic choice. There's a dance scene in the second season that has electronic music, and I know that most people, when they hear music in Star Wars films, they just want to hear the Cantina song, and for good reason. The Cantina song is delightful. Don't get me wrong. It's playing in my head right now on loop. But you know, it's also neat if again people are taking some creative and artistic choices in how they construct potential alien universes.
Who imprisoned him while they were distracted playing a game of rock, paper, scissors. I wish I was kidding. But I do think it's prudent to point out that this is the second space movie in 2 years that's had the attempted sexual assault of a female farmhand who harvests grain.
What?
Zack Snyder needs to call his lawyers and sue somebody for ripping off his Star Wars ripoff. And let's face it.
What? Yeah, no, I agree. What? Two completely unrelated properties. One is derivative of the other, made by a completely different team, studio, released on Netflix. Well, I mean, that also had a scene that I thought was uncomfortable when the bad guys are doing bad things.
That scene from Andor pales in comparison to this.
The Sith reaches the edge of the placid pool. He unslings his bag from his shoulder and unpacks it, while Osha observes from a hiding spot in the rocks. As he begins to untie a belted knot from around his waist, she straightens up for a better look. He begins to undress, revealing a prominent scar on his well-toned back, dropping his billowy-legged hakama.
Wait, what was wrong with this scene? This is not an Andor. This is just a completely separate show. I'm just wondering why this one. But it was like attractive-looking Sith Lord, and then maybe suddenly. Oh my God. I don't even know where to start with this.
He steps forward with the sunlight accentuating his taut muscles. He wades barefoot into the pool. Keeping her predatory gaze on him, she lies in wait behind some rocks closer to the water's edge.
There's a lot of eye cape.
I didn't even know that. Keeping a predatory gaze on him. Chris, thank you for the $5. Original Star Wars, the Empire is the US, and the Jedi are the peace movement, the death of the stars, nuclear deterrence, and Alderaan is Hiroshima. And George Lucas is on the record in interviews saying that in the third Star Wars film, the rebellion done by the Ewoks is supposed to be an allegory for Vietnam versus the US Empire.
Going on there. And yes, I was talking about the viewers as well. Now, the media certainly wants to make something out of that scene, and quite frankly, so do some of the creatives from Andor, including showrunner Tony Gilroy. From The Hollywood Reporter, Andor creator explains that shocking assault scene. We're all the products of
Greg, what did you say?
Tony Gilroy on why that sexual assault attempt against an undocumented fugitive, thought I was kidding about the immigration thing, in the show's season 2 premiere block was necessary to tell an accurate tale of revolution, even within the Star Wars universe. And as far as the context is concerned, this is what Gilroy says. I mean, let's be honest, man. The history of civilization, there's a huge arterial component of it. That's rape. All of us who are here, we're all the products of rape.
You said rape twice.
I like rape.
Whatever.
I don't get it. You left it in there. Either you're not getting demonetized for using the word, or you think it's funny to just keep saying grape. Because internet.
Side you come down on this little kerfuffle online, you can't blame Star Wars fans for rolling their eyes and being exasperated considering the herstory of Disney Star Wars. This leads to another very...
What are you talking about? First off, sexual assault is not a primarily problem that only concerns women. Men can be sexually assaulted as well. And again, if you are anti-sexual assault, then you'd want the people who commit sexual assault, primarily men, to stop sexually assaulting people. So bringing attention to it, no, is not at all a feminist exclusive issue. Not to mention, like in the Star Wars film, there is so much fucked up stuff that has happened in so many different Star Wars movies up until this point that, again, portraying an evil colonial empire as an evil colonial empire, which includes taking advantage of people who they felt were undocumented immigrants or undocumented migrants or fugitives from the empire or whatever you want to try and twist this into. Yeah, you're an adult. If this one is apparently too adult for you, there's a new children's show that just came out in the Star Wars universe. You could watch that one.
good question that I can hear you all asking. Why in the hell would Lucasfilm promote the one thing that was relatively well received with this? And that big question leads to a bigger question and conversation. What the f is Star Wars now? Is it for kids? Is it for adults? Is it the original trilogy? Is it the prequels? Is it the expanded universe? Is it a space opera about a family? Is it a story about...
It's a multi-billion-dollar international franchise. All of the above. It includes video games, breakfast cereals, cups, foodstuffs, like goes on and on.
About space wizards that's for everyone. Well, that's what Star Wars was, but it's been well over a decade since, and I'm paraphrasing George Lucas, he sold his kids to the white slavers.
I sold them to the white slavers that take these things and okay, but...
And no one, including Luke...
This is what I was talking about. I think the reason that there's media stories on this is because people are reacting to it so strongly online. Sexual assault in Star Wars feels unnecessary. You can portray power dynamics and making the audience hate the Empire in other ways without taking it to such a disgusting place. Vader wouldn't tolerate that shit, nor does the Empire condone it. The Empire is good. It has no place in Star Wars, period. Unnecessary. Again, I guess you just thought the dude who's got a really cool voice and has magic powers was the good guy or something, or just Vader's just cool. It's cool though. I know he's the bad guy, but I mean he's pretty badass, right? So he wouldn't stand for this.
Lucasfilm and Disney has a clue of what Star Wars is about, or even what it is. Is it the gayest Star Wars ever? Is it about exploring adult themes like rape in Andor?
Why are you saying, like, each one of these was made by a separate team of people? These are completely different shows. Like, pulling up every single property and be like, I didn't like this one because gay. I didn't like this one because women. I didn't like this one because it had a implied sexual assault scene. And so, what is Star Wars, really?
A show that was
but a set of my own grievances.
Preceded by one that was for little kids' skeleton crew. I guess the good news is the reported cases of whiplash have been greatly reduced because nobody watched either show, and there was no danger of any little kid making it to that scene in Andor in the 3rd episode because they'd be asleep. Is it about thirst traps and...
There's properties for adults and there's properties for kids. They made a show for kids called Skeleton Crew. Watch it. It probably is not going to be too offensive. Nothing really in there you can get too angry about. They made a show for adults called Andor. That again is about fascism, imperialism, colonization, and the newest season is about the end result of those being genocide. Yeah, it is heavy themes. It is intended for adults. Yeah, there could be movies for adults too.
Shipping. Is it about destroying male legacy characters and replacing them with female versions with no...
Male legacy characters. Han Solo, no. Come on, Harrison Ford had at least 4 more movies in him. Look, he's doing Marvel films now. He could have done it. He could have gone the distance. Instead, he got replaced by this. They're not actually replacing one another. I mean, you're better off saying that Luke Skywalker got robbed, but okay.
Character, all in the name of female empowerment, except when it comes to Gina Carano. Is it?
You know what's so wild too is that like I never watched the newer trilogy in any way thinking like this is heavy-handed. Like I know I'm a completely different person, fair enough, but like it did not feel like this was like some girl boss heavy-handed feminist masterpiece where it's just like because of Rey, you know, and what Rey did. And like I felt that they could have gone in a direction that was a lot more subversive when they did that second film, and then all of a sudden the idea started to be maybe there isn't divine family lineages, maybe there isn't, you know, children who are just born with high midichlorian counts as a result of being from some special space monarchy. What if anyone had the ability within them to rise and inspire others and create a revolution? That was a neat direction it was headed in, and then it just got neutered, and then they're like, nope, none of that's true. Emperor Palpatine secretly the villain the whole time, and he rises, and now he's got the whole thing planned out. He was planning everything. He's the puppet master, and let's just finish on that. So there you go.
The Pander Stone. Is it about diversity, dinosaurs, and diversity? Is it...
Put another gay diverse woman in it, make it more...
Is it about Rey Palpatine, who intentionally or unintentionally helps wipe out the Skywalker line and then usurp their name? Is it Kathleen Kennedy being fired every year since 2019, including twice this year? Is it Kathleen Kennedy announcing a long list of projects over a long period of time where only a fraction will actually be released, if at all? Is it Kathleen Kennedy firing or ghosting most of the creators that she's hired? Is it about communist lesbian space witches? Is it a cinematic franchise? Is it a streaming franchise? Is it just a lifestyle brand? Is it turning...
Is it a corporate product? Yes. There you go. You got it. Now you can start getting less upset about how the fact that there is more than one thing. I mean, what the fuck is it? Is it movies? TV shows? Musicals on ice? Fucking Cheetos?
George Lucas's Star Wars that was a male brand for everyone into a girl brand for no one? Is it about diminishing returns at the box office, so much so we...
I like how you just associate Han Solo with like inherent manliness, even though like he was a little bit sexually assaulty in the original trilogy. I mean, gotta be real about that one. But like, I think women enjoyed the original Star Wars trilogy too. I don't think that, like, you know, your takeaway from that is that, well, this is a story for men about men, and there's a guy, and he's basically, you know, he goes on his own path. You know, you could say he's Solo, and he's the hero of the story. He's you know, a rough and tough smuggler, and he knows how to get the job done.
We haven't had a Star Wars film since 2019. Is it about making the most uninspired or blandest content ever by making every other show's title just somebody's name? I'm looking forward to Star Wars Bob, but I sit corrected because the next film to come out from Disney Star Wars is The Mandalorian and Grogu. Is it Lucasfilm and their willing and able comrades in the access media blaming fans for all of their problems? Is it actors from Disney Star Wars attacking fans? Is it about jangling keys and cameos? Is it taking one of the greatest cinematic franchises in history and turning it into a category on a fledgling streaming service? As far as Disney...
So what isn't your bigger issue here with just how corporate it's become? I mean, because it really feels like you're just like, why is it that this is the way it is? Anyways, I hate women. Like, this is why I hate this, because there's a woman in this one. I think this person's gay. Yeah, this black dude was speaking up against racism in the industry. That's not cool.
Disney Star Wars is concerned, the answer to all those questions is yes, it is all those things, yet it's about nothing. Our good friend Robert Meyer Burnett was right. The only thing Star Wars is about is itself, such as the tragedy of Darth Disney buying one of the most timeless, beloved, and profitable cinematic intellectual properties ever and devolving it into uninspired, pointless...
They bought Star Wars for $3 billion, FYI. I don't know if anyone has the math offhand on how much money all of these movies have made them so far, but I think they've seen quite a large ROI on that.
And directionless content made for specific demographics, infused with the message and reactionary storytelling that usually reflects any hot-button issue that's happening at the time the product is being created. That will not only make the specific product feel dated, it will taint the whole damn thing and take something that could have lasted forever and guarantees to stamp it with an expiration date. And that's all Disney Star Wars is. Just one of many zombie franchises. Yet I find it ironic that Lucasfilm, which is obsessed with identity, is in an identity crisis.
Yes, yes.
But it's no skin off my back because, quite frankly, it's been hilarious watching Disney turn billions into millions. I was a fan once, but that was a...
Okay. I'm sorry, where? What's the math on all this? I mean, maybe he's thinking about the fact that, like, you know, subscription services are notoriously hard to monetize because of all the costs involved in servers. So maybe it's that Disney Plus is not profitable.
Long time ago. I'm simply here to chronicle its demise, and I'm sure you've noticed that nobody really breaks down any theories or plots from any Disney Star Wars shows. The only time...
What are you talking about? After watching Andor, just wanted to watch one analysis channel to see if some of the things I had missed I could find in Easter egg collections. So I typed in New Rock Stars, Andor, season finale. And yes, of course, there was an analysis and video for that. And then my algorithm was polluted with like hundreds of videos of Andor analysis. What does this mean? What is this Easter egg? What is literally 100? My entire timeline all of a sudden was like, you love Andor. We have Andor for for you. All the Andor you can fucking swallow. The slop.
Time anybody talks about it en masse or it makes any news is a variation of three things. When something cringe comes out of one of their products, Kathleen Kennedy is rumored to be fired for the 16th time, or an actor attacks the fans. And this one is aimed directly at you, Lucasfilm. For the 1000th time, you should be grateful for the fans you take for granted, the ones who are pissed because that means they still care, because they're still out there. They want to love Star Wars, and one of the rare smart moves on your part, you re-released Revenge of the Sith, which
what would please these people? If if they were released like some anti-woke Star Wars, like all-white cast, just complaining about cancel culture and trans people in the galaxy, would that be the Star Wars film for you? Would you be like, Star Wars is back, finally they dropped the politics, this is just about, you know, a couple of dudes enjoying their lightsabers and fucking stroking each other's lightsabers, and this is like fucking good hetero content?
Made $42 million worldwide, a movie that's 20 years old. So clearly they want Star Wars, just not yours. Circling back to that scene in Andor, introducing adult themes into Star Wars certainly could work and has worked with George Lucas's Star Wars.
Yeah, see, he's acknowledging that the prequels had some pretty fucked up stuff, you know, complete genocide, some pretty intense eugenics, the mass slaughter of children, the torture and strangling of a pregnant woman, whom is basically your basis for the entire turn to the dark side, making it kind of invalidating the whole arc. But I digress. But that apparently was when Star Wars was good, and that's when Star Wars knew what it was doing, because it was George Lucas, you know, coming up with brilliant lines like, "I hate sand. It's coarse. It gets in everything."
Because they had a good story and a good foundation. The only foundation Disney Star Wars has is ego, hubris, and incompetence. And as far as Andor introducing rape in the Star Wars, well, that was already done when Disney bought it.
Erotic doc.
Well, he cares so much about sexual assault, it's the closing joke for the segment. Andor season 2 is very, very good, and it's one of those things that it's better than it has any right to be. It's better. It's good in spite of being a Star Wars property. It's like, that's, you know, even being a Star Wars series couldn't hold it back from what they laid out, tried to accomplish, and then did. You can honestly watch it knowing nothing about Rogue One, knowing nothing about you know, the eventual construction of the Death Star. You don't even need to watch it at all thinking, oh, so this is a prequel, so I'm going to learn more about the Star Wars canon and all that. You could just watch it independent of any of that and look at it to be a really well done allegory for, again, the banality of aspects of evil in regards to how fascism eventually can take over society, and how inherently weak, despite being as terrifying as it can be, fascism is. And, you know, honestly, it's well worth your time. That, you know, and Andor season 2 delivers, unlike Last of Us season 2, which unfortunately has been a bit of a disappointment.
So you may have noticed some different music playing at the start of the show. That's because I wanted to make some new music with Chico. I'm going to upload a bunch of different themes to patreon.com/theserfs, where you can be the first to hear and vote on your favorite one, and then it'll become the official theme song for the show. And if you can't support that, hey, no worries, it'll all be available free at soundcloud.com/theserfstv. It's also in part a project to try and learn and revitalize the Michif language, which is the Métis language, and unfortunately, considered one of the world's languages currently going extinct, unless we keep teaching it.
Don't let this happen to you. Go to serfscoffee.com to order the only end-to-end owned indigenous coffee company that delivers blood-free, conflict-free, and cruelty-free beans right to your door. 0% of people who drink serfscoffee.com have exploded spontaneously. By ordering right now, you get 10% off plus free shipping, and it's the best way to enjoy delicious coffee while not exploding. That's serfscoffee.com, serfscoffee.com.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. This video wouldn't be at all possible without the financial support of all the people whose names you see on the screen right now. And if you want to unlock secret bonus episodes, content that we can't post anywhere else, or get the videos early before anyone else gets to see them, please go on to patreon.com/theserfs. For as little as $1, you can help support this channel and help make more videos like this possible. Our executive producers are Anna Loves Riley, Adrian McCarthy, Bobby Lasers, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Garrett Sandoval, Hagbard Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Political Papi, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Richard Boehm, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demel, Tigwick, Trav, and Words Greenwood. And also, it wouldn't be possible without all the names you see on the screen right now. Again, if you want to help produce this content, it's only made possible through the funding of our patrons. Head on down to patreon.com/theserfs. That's patreon.com/theserfs.